Kenny, Christmas is normally wall to wall with matches, but there'll be more than 2 weeks between the Hull and Accrington games. How's that period been for you, your staff, and your players?
Yeah, initially with the positive test, we had to close the training ground down, and it was the right thing to do to let people get over, the positive COVID test. But most importantly, a little bit of a circuit breaker so that it didn't spread around. Hull City had obviously their problems as well. It has done that. We've been back all week. We started on Monday. And we've had, what we consider to be so far a normal training week this week in the build up to Accrington game on Saturday. I think that gives us the best chance of being fit, of being prepared, of being normal, of making sure that we don't lose any rhythm in that in that break. It was the right thing to do though, because obviously we had our problems there, and it had to be called off.
You've been involved in football a very long time. Was it bizarre having all that time off around Boxing Day, Christmas, or did you manage to use it to your advantage?
Yeah, it was a really strange, it's a really strange period, definitely, but they are strange times, and we're not exempt from it inside of football. The few days off I used in terms of looking at players for next month, and just making sure that I keep up on the knowledge of players around, and not only that, of other sides in our division that we have coming up. So. The time went pretty quickly, and as I said, we were back this week anyway, and what we consider to be, a good build-up so far for this week for the Accrington game. It's a big game. Accrington starts off a real good run of fixtures for us.
What's the current status of those who tested positive for COVID-19 earlier this month? Are they all back fully fit and back in training?
Yeah, one or two players had needed an extra day, only in terms of their quarantine period, not what they needed or how they felt necessarily, but all of them, wanted to come back training. We had to really do it by the letter of the law and make sure everybody had the full 10 days as the government guidelines and the EFL guidelines dictate. But by Tuesday morning, everybody was back. That was good, and we're pleased to say, at the moment, we have no people struggling with symptoms either, and long may that continue.
Yeah, that's excellent news. Away from COVID, the wider squad, how are players that have had niggles or minor injuries over the past week? Lee Brown springs to mind.
Yeah, everybody's okay. Lee is fine now and is back in training as well. And we're pleased with his progress after his very slight hamstring injury. And I'm expecting him to be good Thursday, Friday this week, and in and around the group and in and around the squad.
You mentioned it earlier, Kenny, about a circuit breaker. Obviously, that's been in discussions in the wider footballing spheres. I know a lot of Premier League coaches have spoken about it. What are your thoughts on it?
I don't think so. I think it's going to be difficult to just catch everybody at the same time. Different areas of the country have been affected differently, and waves of COVID come at different times as well. So I don't think it can be universal like that, and every club's slightly different. We were at a point where we had several positive tests, and we did feel that one or two people going down with symptoms, it was right for us. But I don't think you can go right across the board, and it's just a situation where we have to just keep persevering and keep working at it, and as long as we're all sort of honest with each other and with each club about exactly where we are, we do feel that then we can carry on with the season.
Let's talk about football. On to Accrington. They've also not played a lot of football recently, but they've impressed over the last month or so under John Coleman. What are you expecting from them on Saturday?
Yeah, last 10 games they've had a really good run and recruited well. They've got a nicely balanced team by the looks of it. Good front two, and in terms of going to Accrington, it's never an easy place to go. They have a good home record, and as you say, are on a good recent run themselves. One of a number of sides, I think, that are in the top half of the table, and we'll be looking at those promotion places, the playoff places. Definitely, they have the games in hand as well. So, tough opponents. We do feel a lot of the clubs around us. We've been playing recently. I don't think that you can overestimate anybody, but similarly, you can't underestimate anybody either. And there's 12 or 14 clubs there that all look like they have a chance of getting promotion. Accrington are one of them at the moment.
like you say there, Kenny, they've got a good balance to their team, very solid at both ends of the pitch. That they play three at the back with wing backs. Does that alter how you set up, or is it more of a get our own game right mentality rather than adapting to the opposition?
Yeah, as you say, they've settled on that particular formation, 3-5-2. There's quite a number of sides play that at the moment, and have had success with it as well. So have Accrington. It's about being good at what you do, but similarly, I do think along the way you have to be flexible as well. We've got a fully fit squad. We're pleased with that. We do think in terms of then that squad we have good options, and this week want to concentrate on ourselves and make sure that the good run that we had just before we had the break, it doesn't take us too long to get going. We've been good in training this week. Worked 11v11 on Tuesday morning, and that went well. Players looked ready, looked hungry after the Christmas period, looked enthusiastic to play football, which is good. And long may that continue. We'll need that up at Accrington to get a result that we need.
Do you expect the game to be a bit sluggish at all because both sides haven't played in a while, or to play devil's advocate, should they both be raring to go given the amount of rest they've had?
Yeah, they should be raring to go, and I'm sure they will be. As you say, they've rested. For myself, I've missed the football in the last couple of weeks and enjoy it. And looking at the players this week, they're exactly the same. So you have to enjoy it as well. It's a big challenge the season. We're competing again at the right end of the table, and we should enjoy the challenge. I don't think it will be sluggish at all. I think it'll be a lively game, and I think everybody will be keen to get back playing.
We said it all of December that was a big month, but January seems to be an even bigger month. How do you pick up from where you left off in Hull?
Well, we are pleased that we're in the mix at the top end of the table. It's we don't want to be too far away at this stage, and because of the position that we're in and the form that we've shown, that's why the next month is even more important. If we been off the pace or somewhere around the relegation places, then it would have been different. But we're pleased to say we've given ourselves a chance in the first half of the season, and then it does become a big month in January with lots of games against the sides around us, which is good. It's a good competition, League One, a very good one. We will need to be at our best to pick up points on a regular basis, but we've proved we can do it. So we have to keep raising that bar, making sure that our standards are consistently high.
You mentioned it earlier, Kenny, but of course the transfer window is around the corner. Are you expecting to bring players in, or is it dictated by letting players go first?
Yeah, I don't think there'll be many changes if there are. If we can strengthen, definitely yes. We don't want to be bringing in squad players if we can improve our starting 11. That is the objective at the moment. There are some options for us to be able to take some players. I do suggest, yes, it is likely to be one in, one out. That is going to be our policy going through this January, yes.
Of course, still second in the league, so it's unlikely, like you say, to make wholesale changes. It's a good squad. Yeah,
we have got a good squad, and we've worked hard with a number of these boys as well. Not too many changes in the last window. One or two players have come in, but a lot of the people that are doing it now and that are established have been at the club for a little while. So it's good that we've worked hard with them. They've worked hard. We've persevered with them, and they're just gelling quite well and quite nicely at the moment. It is a good squad. If there's opportunity to improve it, we'll take it. There's not anything lined up right now, but if we can improve any particular position or bring in a player that is a complement, we will definitely do that, because we want to try to maximise the opportunities that we have.
Finally, Kenny, how do you reflect on 2020 as a whole? It's been like no other. It's certainly had its up and downs on and off the field.
Yeah, and it's nobody could envisage a year ago what was going to happen, and football hasn't been immune from that, and it's a real strange situation. So we really hope that with the vaccine coming in, the new year progressively gets better and leads towards some normality. On the pitch, some frustration because the Oxford games in the playoffs, we took the lead twice and couldn't follow it through. Ended up obviously losing that game in a penalty shootout, which is quite a cruel way and a very, very tight way. For the players anyway, didn't, I think, have a hangover going into the new season, which is credit to them, particularly as it was in the main the same group, and have made a good fist of it so far this season, have built up both confidence and understanding, and have to keep improving now, and most importantly, have to look forward to the new year and the second half of this season to try to, build on what's been a good first half of the season.